Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into what is honestly a massive disconnect happening in the corporate world right now. I'm talking about the glaring gap between AI expectations and AI reality. We are going to explore how to execute a true organizational transformation. And look, this is about moving way beyond just buying the latest tech to actually upskilling your executive team and fundamentally restructuring your company for the future. So let's just dive right in. We have to start with a bit of a stark reality check. Right now, 90% of executives believe AI can drive revenue growth, and 77% think they absolutely need to adopt it quickly just to keep up. But here is the wake-up call. Only a staggering 1%, literally just 1% of executives say they fully integrated AI into their company workflows to drive substantial business outcomes. Now, contrast that 1% statistic with a Fortune 500 giant like JP Chase. CEO Jamie Dimon recently disclosed that the bank is spending roughly $2 billion a year on AI and data initiatives. And the kicker? They're making that exact same amount back in direct benefit. What this tells us is that serious AI transformation isn't just some cute IT experiment. It is a top-level mandate with measurable, multi-billion-dollar returns when you execute it correctly across things like trading, risk management, and client services. So, what's going on here? Why is there such a massive gap for everyone else? Well, it turns out technology always advances faster than organizations can actually change. Just look at history. The US government took 20 years to fully adopt typewriters. Fax machines? Those took 15 years to become ubiquitous, and let's be real, some places stubbornly still use them. Spreadsheet software took over a decade to actually show up as a requirement on job descriptions. So the real hurdle to AI isn't the technology itself, right? It's human adaptation. That brings us to Section 1, Leadership's New AI Mandate. 64% of CEOs actually get this. They know that success hinges not on the software capabilities, but entirely on people's adoption of the technology. Think about it. If your employees don't trust leadership or they don't see tangible benefits to integrating AI into their daily workflows, your grand initiative is just going to fall flat. And getting that buy-in? It's all about messaging. Box CEO Aaron Levy sent an internal memo that is just a masterclass in executive storytelling. He didn't threaten his employees with obsolescence. Instead, he framed AI as a tool to completely eliminate day-to-day drudgery. He made it about redirecting energy from boring operational tasks toward efforts that truly benefit their customers. It's all about empowering people, not replacing them. Moving on to Section 2, the evolved middle manager. Traditionally, middle managers were kind of like human routers, right? They were the linchpins of information, collecting, filtering, and reporting data up and down the corporate chain. But AI automates all of that now, so the manager's value totally shifts from merely processing information to being a strategic interpreter. They now have to contextualize AI-generated insights against the company culture and market nuances that the AI simply cannot comprehend. They essentially have to answer the why behind the what. Building on that, instead of just monitoring workflows and enforcing standard operating procedures, which, again, AI can do in real time now, the role evolves into an AI human facilitator. Managers are going to facilitate collaborative intelligence. They'll be helping to upskill team members to seamlessly integrate AI into their daily routines, while stepping in to resolve those complex, messy human conflicts that technology just can't touch. And finally, because they are freed from the minutia of operational budgeting and scheduling, the evolved manager basically becomes an innovation catalyst. They turn into internal entrepreneurs. Using the stability provided by AI, they can experiment with new processes and empower their teams to really lean into creativity and complex problem solving. All right, Section 3, flattening the corporate pyramid. Because AI is suddenly processing all these massive information flows that previously required strict hierarchical layers, we're seeing a natural phenomenon called delayering. The traditional corporate pyramid, which was really built for an era of information scarcity, is naturally flattening out. So in this new flattened world, those rigid pyramids are giving way to agile, networked teams. And because AI handles so much of the administrative oversight, the evolved manager's span of control actually increases. They can effectively coach much larger, cross-functional, and diverse teams without micromanaging. It lets them focus heavily on that collaborative intelligence we just talked about. Okay, let's get practical. Section 4, 4 phases of AI adoption. We're going to look at the Bessemer AI Upskilling Guide for Executives.
This really moves us from just conceptualizing an AI future to giving us a structured, step-by-step strategy for actually getting your people to use it effectively.
So here is the playbook, broken down into 4 phases. First up, educate yourself. Leaders absolutely must personally experiment with AI tools if they want to credibly lead this charge. Second, define clear, measurable objectives tied directly to your business strategy. Please don't just adopt AI for the sake of it. Third, engage your employees to build trust and find the best use cases. And fourth, systematically identify and close the skill gaps on your team. During that third phase, engaging employees, HR expert Susan Youngblood uses what I think is just a brilliant tactic. She simply asks, what is one thing that drives you crazy about your job? It's a fantastic low-pressure way to organically discover the best internal AI use cases. You find out what mindless, repetitive tasks can be automated while simultaneously building trust and securing real employee buy-in. Let's bring it all together in Section 5, Building an AI-First Culture. Look, we all know generic one-size-fits-all training is basically useless. Effective AI upskilling must be tied directly to an employee's daily workflows. If I'm a recruiter, I really don't need to know how an LLM is built from scratch, right? I just need to know how it helps me source better candidates. Furthermore, this training has to be explicitly prioritized by the CEO, based on dynamic skills data, and then championed from the bottom up by early adopter peers. So, how do you know if you're actually succeeding? You've got to look for the red and green flags in your internal initiatives. If your employees are completely silent, if training dropouts are high, and if everything feels like a top-down mandate, those are massive red flags. Your green flags? That's when you see unsolicited sharing of AI experiences, high training attendance, and a vibrant culture of peer-to-peer sharing where ideas are constantly bubbling up from the bottom. If you take nothing else away from this explainer, remember this. AI integration is a marathon of human-centric change management. It is not a simple IT software sprint. True transformation requires reshaping roles, flattening outdated structures, and prioritizing the education of your people above absolutely everything else. So I want to leave you with a question to really challenge your current strategy. Take a hard look at your budgets and your leadership focus right now. Are you just buying AI tools, or are you truly doing the hard, messy work of building an AI-empowered organization? Because honestly, the difference between those two approaches is the exact difference between that 90% who expect a return and the 1% who are actually achieving it. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.